Nigeria.
What's going on? Let's just get right into it. Joseph,
Let's do it.
back to normal, buddy. And
Facts.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, God. We made it. 118 days.
Obviously, here, folks, we're here to talk about Power Book for season two. I'm with the star, the man himself, Joseph Sikora. Joseph, we got some hard hitting questions to jump into right now. They're really not hard, but seriously, there are questions that the fans want to know, myself want to know, and there's no better person to answer them than you. We got to talk about one of the most powerful scenes in this finale, and that's Tommy standing over Kate. It's an emotional scene. One, the tear, and just the stakes of one of our favorite characters sitting there ODing. I would like for you to take us through what's going through Tommy's head. What did the tears symbolize? What were the emotions going through his head, looking over his mom as she was ODing, asking for help, and he just stood still?
I think Tommy was, well, I definitely played this is through Gary Lennon and wonderfully brought to life by Deon Taylor. Deon Taylor never let good be okay. It always had to be better, more, even more. Let's see. And I think that tear came from Tommy being truly stultified that is there. And what if she just died? I think that there was a lot of realization happening to Tommy. Do I want her to die? Do I not want her to die? Am I powerful? Am I powerless? What is like, it was like Tommy's whole world. This is where I came from. This sniveling, dying OD. He was disgusted with her. At the same time, he was disgusted with how he was raised by her. He was disgusted with every ounce of her. And yet he still loves her. Tommy always still loves Kate. There's always a part of Tommy. Gary Lennon, our wonderful showrunner and leader, also the co-showrunner of the original Power Show for the last few seasons, just does an amazing job of having tension within the character. Two totally conflicting ideas happening at the same damn time. And I think that that's great. Also, it doesn't hurt that Patricia Kallenberg is such a brilliant, and I don't use that word lightly, actor. She just brings Kate so much to life. There's so many elements of Kate. Kate could be a cartoon, and she never is. Always, she's a wackadoo, but she's very much real. And so that was what a great question, man. Great question, great scene, great pick. And I think that Anthony Fleming III, who plays J.P. Gibbs, did an outstanding job of also being disgusted with Tommy, that he could have watched death happen in front of his face so easily. At least that was his interpretation.
Yeah.
I think the strength and commitment that Anthony Fleming III has brought to JP is magnificent. And being a born and raised Chicagoan, I think that some of his Chicago authenticity comes out in that character.
Yeah, obviously, in solidarity of SAG and everybody getting to this point, I'm truly glad that you all were able to come and finally get the resolution you all were looking for, because it just was really heart-wrenching that you all were not able to promote the show. And
Oh,
this
yes.
finale, just as you mentioned, and giving your flowers to all your cast members, you all really showed out as the fans. We did our best to try to support, but we absolutely wanted to make sure it wouldn't have been that community that we're used to if you all wasn't able to be a part of the celebration of what this season meant to us. And as you mentioned, Anthony, Patricia, just everybody hitting all us, Lucian, everybody just showed up
Mm-hmm.
in this finale, man. Another little tidbit with the same scene is that I suspect here, was this Tommy potentially considering the idea of letting Kate go so that he could keep Maria? Has Tommy finally picked a woman over his mother?
That is a wonderfully astute observation as well. I think that that was very deliberately put in there. That Tommy's like, it can two of them exist? You know, can two women exist in Tommy's life? I think that Kate was always betting on Kate, but I think that if this comes through, if this is truly meant to be, which it seems like it is for Tommy, if Tommy can tell Holly that's the one for me, that's big because
Yes, it is.
Holly was
Mhm.
the one for him in terms of just raw emotion. But I think that Maria is a bit of that. There is obviously this magnetism that is keeping them, that just attracts them together. But there's also the kind of steady thoughtfulness that Lakeisha had as well, that Maria has as well, and her commitment to not be part of the criminal lifestyle. So is that conflict? How is that gonna work? I mean, the conflict and the genuineness existing at the same time, I think, is just so masterfully done by Gary Lennon. And also, just in terms of consistency of this season, I've got to give our director of photography, Jody Williams, his flowers too, because how beautiful was this season and how consistent. Like, you felt like you were on a ride and it felt seamless, even though there's a different director every episode. It just, this seamlessness, and I think that's because Jody's beautiful paintings on the screen are so consistent that I just really enjoyed watching this season as a fan.
Yeah. See, this is why I asked Starz. I said I needed more time because I knew we were going to get into the weaves of things. And again, as we continue to give flowers to other folks involved with this project, I want to take a look over at Shane. This was truly his coming out party as an actor. He really stepped up. You and Shane had some amazing scenes. I'm speaking about Vic Flynn. Tommy has not decided to cancel Christmas in traditional Tommy fashion, but in fact, realizes that he could use Vic. He's an informant. He's with the FBI. This could be beneficial to CBI here. Is it more beneath the eye here? Does Tommy potentially see himself in Vic, or do he see opportunity to really put him under his wing, regardless of the confidential informant status? But does he look at Vic in the sense of, this is a lost puppy, much like myself, who's now looking for family and community, much like myself? Is there anything that Tommy's seeing beneath the eye here with Vic beyond the utilization of him being the CI?
I think the ego part of Tommy Egan is not. I think the ego part of Tommy Egan is saying, I own you. You belong to me now. I think the id part of Tommy, the true part, the deep inside part, can't help but see some of the things that you alluded to, and that is the similarities of both of their journeys. I think that Tommy tries to ignore that side of him, but we all know that Tommy is this kind of feeling animal. He's an emotional animal. And so I think that whether he knows it or not, he is doing some of those things too. Just like Tommy, out of necessity now, is acting more like Ghost, that dormant part of him that now has to be woken up to think 3 steps ahead. Otherwise, it's death. But some of these things existed in him, and he just didn't realize it because they were 2 men with 1 voice. But now Tommy has to be both men.
Yeah. We haven't had a chance to talk this season for obvious reasons, but we have to talk about the overall arc of Tommy. This was a season where it started with him having everything he's always wanted. Family. He's running the business. He's proven all his doubters that he actually could be the guy. He could be that top guy. He could be the face. And all his ambitions in terms of the organization, the coalition that he created, he gets that, only for the family aspect to be ripped out from under him at the end of the season. Can you talk about overall with this season, Tommy's journey through your experience in playing this character over the years, and where does that leave Tommy going forward?
Well, I think that Deon Taylor did a wonderful job directing that scene where the glass door closes in front of Tommy when JP says, you're not part of this family anymore. And I love that it ended on my face, and there was this stillness in there. But that was because Deon was just like, no, more. You have to think more. This is your last chance to be part of this family. Are you sure that you want that door to close? Yeah. If that door closes, you are choosing the game over your family. Yeah. And that was a really tough decision to make, but thank God for great directors like Deon to help push that character even further. Yeah. And I loved it.
Yeah 1,000%. Now that Maria seems to be back under well, we don't know what Miguel has plans for, but Maria's gone, and everything that Tommy ever wanted in a woman seems to be found in Maria. Now that that's taken away from him, now that we're looking forward towards the next season, we see this rage. Tommy in a situation, a predicament that we're not typically used to seeing Tommy in. Can you talk about what the emotions mean for Tommy having that conversation with Miguel, knowing that Maria is gone, the love of his life is gone, and he doesn't know what to do?
Yeah, Tommy has been told no, and it's like a little bratty kid being told, no, you cannot have that candy. And Tommy's like, I want the candy. There's part of that is just the reality of it. Because Tommy, if he goes back to, Tommy, OG Power Tommy, and just like, screw everything, I'm just going to murder everybody. I'm just going to take everything out in this big flame. Then he loses all of this stuff. So Tommy he's trying to stay cerebral. He's trying to think the 2 steps ahead. And he's just at that place of frustration where it's like he's been blindsided. So Gary did a great job, I think, of having all of these little wins for Tommy. He finally becomes the connect. He finally makes this. He finally turns CBI all around. And then he gets a little too comfortable, kissing Ray out in front of the apartment. Janar having the drop on him with that.
Yep.
And then at the last bit, just when you think like this is all going to work out, it just gets snatched away. So we're left with we're left with all of these accomplishments just to have everything ripped out from underneath them at the end. I love it. I think that it turned out great. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Me too, buddy. Last question for you here. We got to, again, giving flowers to the rest of your cast member, Isaac Keys. Man. Did he show out this season? And
he did a great job.
Yep. For everything that Tommy and Diamond has created collectively with CBI, it seems that even with, well, as the great Biggie would say, more money, more problems, you all are running Chicago, and now there seems to be tension at the head of the table here. Can you talk about this conflict that is between Tommy and Diamond, and Diamond sort of stepping up, letting Tommy know, like, this is collectively us. It's not always about you, Tommy, which happens to be, well, the same quote that he heard from his brother Ghost. Can you talk about the emotions of that and the conflict between these 2 characters here?
Yeah, I think that it's interesting, and I love that it's so reflective of Ghost. With that Diamond has so many Ghost quotes to think, Tommy, you're doing this, and you need to do this, Tommy. Whereas Tommy, interestingly though, is past that point where he was with Ghost. Now that he is more like Ghost, he's able to hear these things and be like, "You're wrong." So I think that there is a conflict between Diamond and Tommy because of that. But Tommy is still that loyal, honest guy. He'll let you be your own worst enemy. He'll let you take yourself out, and he'll tell you the truth. Tommy tells the truth so much that people are like, "No, he's lying." No, he's not. And I think that that's a really exciting part too. And I think that Tommy's allowing the family dynamic of Janar, I think stellarly played by Chris Lofton as well. With the Janar and Diamond, this family conflict to like that. I'm gonna leave that alone over there. Let them. That'll take them out of the game by themselves. Yeah. And I'm just gonna keep running over here. So Tommy is not duplicitous like Ghost was duplicitous. Ghost smashed Kanan's taillight and called the cops. Tommy would never do that.
Okay, fair point.
But Tommy will allow people to be their own worst enemies and take themselves out and just be whistling on his own merry way.
Yeah, interesting you say that, because I really felt like there was a lot of energy being pointed towards Janar. It's like Tommy's really devoting this energy that makes it very clear that he just doesn't like Janar by any circumstance, even though he reminds him snitch.
It reminds him of himself.
Interesting.
He's using his own supply. He's thinking about himself first and foremost. He's asking for help. So like Ghost would always be like, "Don't ask these guys. Don't bring these guys in. It's just me and you, Tommy." And then Tommy would be like, "No, I'm going to get the Serbs to do this. I'm going to get this guy to do this, and Vibora to do this." And he's like, "No. You're making all these dumb connections." Whereas just like Janar is making a dumb connection with Shanti Showstopper. He's trying to play against that. He's trying to hook up with, see what Claudia has to offer. He's making all the. It reminds Tommy a lot of himself, so Tommy can see all the holes in that game.
Yeah. Wow. Didn't even put that one together there. Well, listen, Joseph, I definitely need to let you go. Obviously, and traditionally, we would have talked in the beginning of the season, maybe opportunity at the end of the season. So I definitely just want to give you a second. If there's anything you want to say to the fans, if anything you want to say to the supporters and everybody out there, as we rocked out with you all for season 2 of Force, fingers crossed for the announcement for season 3. But this is the moment and opportunity for you to say anything you might want to say.
Let's bring those numbers up, guys. I love you. You're the best fans in the world. Power fans unite. Let's blow this thing out of the water. This is our opportunity. If we show up, we can show them right out, man. Let's show everybody how devoted Power fans are and make the finale the most watched episode of the season.
My God. Joseph, thank you so much for your time today. I'll be seeing you around very soon because we're going to put that energy in the air. Season 3 coming very soon. Absolutely, my brother. You take care, all right?
Peace.
Take care.